Hello everyone, I come to you today in Mort's little safe house, which he charges you money to enter, and then charges you even more money to get supplies once you have entered. But this video today isn't about how much I hate Mort. I am in Mort's safe house to talk about an enemy that is near Mort's safe house, specifically the Rhinogrund. The Rhinogrund is one of the more interesting enemies in Pharloom, as there's only two of them across the entire world, and the first one you meet, you don't even get to see him at first. You just hear him on the right side of this screen, trying to break down a gate and terrorize all the pilgrims in here. He attacks this gate in a pretty standard interval. Every couple of seconds he bashes his head into it, but you can actually modify this interaction that he has. First of all, by playing the needle in, even though you're not in the same room as him, he will stop to sing, because Hornet's playing is just so beautiful that it entrances enemies even outside of her point of view. Yeah, and he'll stop attacking it throughout, and the second you stop, he'll keep on attacking it. But what if you want him to attack this gate more? Then you just taunt. And once you taunt, the Rhinogrund will come in a frenzy much faster against this gate than anything beforehand. Yeah, there are actually unique interactions with the Rhinogrund here, even when he's off screen, programmed into this game. And that's what this video and all of my fact videos are about, dear viewer. Showing you secrets that I had never known in my 9 months of playing this game, but I have just found out about, and I want to share with all of you. Whether you want to spend some time having a beautiful sing-along with the Rhinogrund, or you want to terrorize him further and cause him to break down the gate much faster, you can do either with the abilities that Team Cherry has offered you. And if you know all of these enemy secrets that I'm going to share with you today, feel free to leave a dislike on this video. But if you don't know even one of them, then you should leave a like. Now, much like how I'm terrorizing this Rhinogrund to get a reaction out of him, I hope this video gets a reaction out of you, dear viewers. This one room in the Mire is normally remembered as the room that teaches you how to use these pogoable, bouncy things. I don't know what they really are, I just remember everyone hating them because we only had the Hunter's Crest and we had to learn how to use downward pogos, and it was terrible. But there is something a bit more interesting going on in this room when you activate the quest Volatile Flintbeetles. You can see in the room right now, there are a bunch of enemies. You've got this enemy hiding under the skull, and there are a few more enemies before us. But what happens when the Flintbeetles spawn? As you see now, I got the quest Volatile Flintbeetles, because I know English, and while I never really considered it before, simply by spawning the Flintbeetles, this entire room changes pretty substantially. This beginning part is largely the same with the same carnids and everything, but you come up to here and now there's a dead pilgrim that wasn't here before, implying that the Flintbeetle killed him, I guess. But also, down on this platform down there is a dead carnid. This Flintbeetle killed a flying enemy without the ability to fly or even jump high. And there was also a Skull Scuttler here, who's not dead, he's just vanished from existence. Just look at the footage we had beforehand. There was very clearly a Skull Scuttler here in the past. The second this Flintbeetle spawned into the world, not only did he kill two other bugs, he just made the Skull Scuttler, vanish entirely. And a bigger question, how could he possibly have killed this carnid? He does not fly, he barely jumps high, the carnid can just fly away and be perfectly fine. I guess he came down from the top and did like a WWE smackdown on that carnid. But anyway, this beetle, and I suppose all Flintbeetles, are far too powerful to be allowed to live. I suppose that's the message that this quest is trying to send. And if so, message received. We want these creatures gone before they absolutely take over these ecosystems. And that would have been the only secret I had to show you all, my dear viewers, except I learned something when I left the screen and came back. Because the Skull Scuttler is not dead at all. He just pops back into existence the second the Flintbeetle dies. So I suppose he went into hiding, but he's already in hiding. So did the mere presence of the Flintbeetle just Thanos snap that enemy for a second? And also the corpses are gone. Now, in game design purposes, it's because the quest is over, I suppose, and so the room has changed its shape and its format. But logistically, all I've learned is that Flintbeetles cause certain bugs to vanish and causes corpses to materialize, which will then dematerialize after you've beaten them. This flint gem is a horrifying weapon from a creature with far too much power. While we're talking about enemies in this game that are rarely seen, how about the Cragglites? These are the baby versions of the Craggler, a mini-boss that I'm sure everyone's very familiar with. It's the boss that kind of protects the path to the Wormways. And the only really notable thing about the Cragglites is that they are the baby version of the Cragglers, and that Hornet, in their Hunter's Journal entry, basically justifies killing them by saying, oh, they're all gonna kill each other in the future, so I can kill them now. Hornet, why do you gotta keep justifying these things? Just kill them. They have a lot of qualities that aren't actually seen in-game. For example, they can climb on walls. Yes, this is not in-game footage without hacks. Obviously, I had to spawn these in here. Because without using mods, you would never know that these guys have the programmed capabilities to climb up walls. Yeah, they're only ever visible in one room in this game normally, in which they just walk side to side on normal platforms. But they still have fully programmed capabilities to walk on every surface. And this is cool lore-wise because I believe this is put in place since their evolved version, the Craggler, hangs from the ceiling. So of course these baby versions also have the ability to hang from walls and the ceiling. But you never have to see this in-game unless you get mods out. So once again, Team Cherry is adding gameplay mechanics just for lore that we'd never see without hacks. And while we're here in Moss Grotto, this next secret is also something I'd like all of your input on, my dear viewers. So, while I was doing some preparations for another video last week, I was in Moss Grotto and I was considering how close it is to Verdania. It is the greenest and most lively green area, wooded area in this game. Shellwood has a very different look to it. And when I came to this watered area, I found these little flying sprites in the background, and I thought, hey, don't those look very similar to the Pendra in Verdania? And I noticed their sprite is slightly different, their body looks longer, their body is closer to the Pendragore in Verdania, but these little guys essentially look like a combination of the Pendra and the Pendragore, except far, far smaller, and they only appear around water and in these sprite formats. So, is it possible that Verdania being gone now, Moss Grotto is developing in a much similar way, and in the future it may begin to get the animals and the creatures that Verdania had in the past? What do you all think about that? Ironically, I'm going to be moving on from a secret in which I want Verdania to come back, to talking about a secret with one of Verdania's worst enemies, the Nufar, aka those enemies that catch you off guard when you think you're just jumping onto a platform, and for which there is basically no way to figure out whether they are real or whether they are just enemies waiting to kill you. Except there is one way that almost no one thinks about, because most of the time they just jump on them and get ready to jump off the second any movement is spotted. You can actually determine whether these Nufar are real or whether they're just platforms through the use of your needle in. And this may also be one of the only cases this game has ever seen where spider strings are useful, because with the distance of spider strings, you can get them moving. That platform is a Nufar, and I would not have known it without spider strings. And also, as a secondary fact, I had no idea that by playing your needle in Verdania, it would show lights on where you're supposed to go to progress, where you get the orbs, I assume, which is crazy that I haven't known this. And also, even though I have this enemy dead to rights, I can't attack it until I activate it, so 0 out of 10, Team Cherry, let me kill these Nufar. I hate them so much. It is terrible. But yeah, I have found basically one of the only use cases where spider strings is good, because obviously you can't play the needle in to get it while you're on the platform. You have to be close enough to actually get it to activate, and without spider strings it likely won't activate, and you'll likely never be able to tell whether these platforms are real or fake. But also, there are still some unfortunate cases where even with spider strings, you aren't close enough to catch the Nufar. So basically, spider strings are still not great, but at least they can help you a bit. I'm done talking about the greenery and the good parts of nature. Let's talk about the awful parts of nature, like Biowater and the maggots that everyone loves, taking all of their silk away. Well, if you want to find one of the few areas in Biowater where you are safe from the maggots, come to this room above the fast travel area in Biowater. There is one pool of water in here that is being constantly barraged by steam from the exhaust organ, And while this is happening, this exhaust actually kills all the maggots that could have survived in this water, making this one of the only patches of water in Biowater which is perfectly safe to swim around in. And more than that, not only is it safe to swim around in, but if you go and swim in this water just at the right... Okay, I should probably heal before I die while trying to demonstrate this. Boom. If you swim in this water at the absolute perfect time in between steam blasts, you can heal yourself of all maggots. Yeah, so not only is this water clear enough that maggots can't survive the pounding exhaust, but it's also clear enough that it heals you from maggots without even needing the steam to go down on your body. And sadly, the Phantom's death ruined this all. And that's why I love the Phantom. They really saved this one area of Biowater, and their death ruins it again. The maggots come back, the exhaust is gone. And I know if you're environmentally sound, you might say, but Kilroy, it's bad that these machines are killing some of the creatures in this environment. Well, I don't care about those environmentalist attitudes. I want these maggots dead. You hear me? And I think I'll get a lot of support in the community for that. These maggots do not deserve to live. Excuse me, I got a little bit heated there. Let's just move on from Biowater, shall we? A very interesting enemy type in Silksong, which I hadn't thought about prior to this video, are the Drape enemies. And those are two kinds of enemies in this game, specifically Drape Mites and Drape Flies. What's similar about them is that they both are made of kind of a cloth-like substance which lets them hide. It lets them hide to varying degrees of success. This Drape Fly, very, very bad at hiding. Like, who does this guy think he's fooling, genuinely? What creature with any ability to see does not instantly clock that Drape Fly as being an enemy and not something else? But the Drape Mites, on the other hand, they are some of the most immaculate hiders I have ever seen, and I never realized it before going to make this video. So okay, there's a Drape Mite in this room. It's on screen right now. I will give you a few seconds to try and find it. You couldn't find it? Well, that's because it is right there. Yeah, that little pile of cloth. That is a Drape Mite. And I had no idea that it was even a Drape Mite hiding in the past. I just assume when these guys pop up, they're just digging out of the floor. But no, they are always coming out of piles of cloth. And whether they are hiding under them or they are hiding their own features, like their limbs and their eyes, to blend into the environment, I don't care. Because it just goes to show how immaculately made these creatures are for hiding. And their cousins, the Drape Flies, absolutely horrible at this. So Drape Mite, you got my respect, little buddy. And I hope you have everyone else's respect after this too. This next secret has to do with, of course, everyone's favorite boss in Hollow Knight Silksong. I barely even have to say their name, you know who they are. Four brothers Signis and Gron. And when you fight Four brothers Signis at first, you notice the text announcing him to be your boss. This text for Four brothers Signis and Gron is one of their most unique factors. It's barely even an exaggeration. I don't remember much about this boss in like any given playthrough. But when you take Four Brother Signis down to, I believe, under half his health, he summons Four Brother Gron. And then you get a second boss announcing text, Four Brother Signis and Gron, confirming that yes, this is a duo fight, except not a very spectacular one. But what happens if Signis is dead by the time Four Brother Gron arrives? This can be done if you are very, very good at video games, or if you're like me, and have hacks on to one-shot Four Brother Signis. Well, Team Cherry anticipated you being able to do this. If Four Brother Signis is dead when Gron arrives, Four Brother Gron gets a unique arrival text just saying his name. Yeah, another case of Team Cherry absolutely not needing to do this at all, but deciding to do it anyway because they had 7 years to work on this video game. And I'm glad they did. I love finding these little secrets. If you are good enough at this game, you too can get the rare special title font, Four Brother Gron. Impressive stuff. Biowater is just full of way too many exploding things, whether these platforming balls or the enemies you find there. These swamp squits and Miremites, all they do is explode. They run into you, and then they explode when you kill them. And then they revive, and then they explode again. But the main thing to recognize there is that when they die, they explode, and of course they leave behind no corpses. I'd hazard to guess that they are one of the only enemies in this entire video game who leave behind absolutely no corpses. And that's the way I've always seen them when I've run through this area. They barely seem like sentient creatures, really, because they somehow just materialize out of nothing and then die, leaving nothing behind. Except for in one area. This area gets unlocked when you're doing Chakra's final mission. And what's that? That right there is a Miremite, an enemy who explodes every time you kill them, and yet somehow they have died in these areas without leaving behind nothing. And I think the lore explanation for this, realistically, there's a couple possible explanations. One is that Chakra's master just kills them in a way that pops their sack without it exploding. But the other, which is a bit more interesting to me, is that this side area of bile water is just so clean and fresh that they don't have bile in them. These Miremites are not full of the mire that we know them for. So it's possible that by doing this one quest for Chakra, we get a brief glimpse into the life of bile water before all the bile and the muck. And for our final secret today, everyone, I'm going to share with you one of the best secrets I've ever learned in this game. This is not something I've learned recently, it's something I've known for quite a bit, but I've just never shared it on this channel, and today was a great opportunity to do so, as this is an enemy-based secrets video. The Cogwork Clapper. Pretty uneventful fight, usually. It's really not that difficult. It's fun to fight, for sure. I love watching it bounce around the room. You find it at the bottom right corner of the Cogwork core. And yeah, you beat it, and a lot of people will go in this room further, will pick up the, I believe it's a spool fragment you can get, and then just move on with their days. But there is a lot more to the Cogwork Clapper in this room than anyone would notice. Also, shout out to that guy emerging from his hiding. Nice callback to this video, thank you. But yeah, the Cogwork Clapper's room is interesting because he is one of the few Cogwork beings that gets repaired if you leave and come back after beating him. And take note of everything I'm showing you in this room, because it will be relevant when I come back to this room in a second. I have gone and rested on a bench and reset the area, and now you can come back to this room and see two Cogworkers trying to fix the Cogwork Clapper that we destroyed. And they will continue to do so until you scare them away, whether by attacking them or taunting them or something. They won't notice you until you actively attack them. They are fully locked in on their work in here. But the thing about these Cogworkers is we have the ability to ruin their work not just by interrupting them, but by removing the body of the former Cogwork Clapper entirely. If we kill them and leave, there will be more Cogworkers here. We have to get rid of this Cogwork Clapper for good. And if we manage to destroy this body, it is gone forever. And it's so unnecessary. One more thing Hornet does that's just evil and unjustifiable. Why would Hornet do this, everyone? I'm not in control here. I've actually not had my hand on this controller for this entire video. Everything I've ever showed you on this channel, it's all Hornet. So you gotta blame her for everything, including getting hit by the steam there. That's just Hornet's bad gaming abilities. But yeah, if you come down to this side of the room and open this lever, you can knock the... That was also Hornet's fault, by the way. I really need to talk to her sometimes. It's really unprofessional when I'm trying to make these videos and she just messes up like that. I can't deal with it. Get it right this time, Hornet. Yeah, you can knock this Cogwork Clapper into this room and, oh no, drop it into these gears. And that body is absolutely wrecked. It is gone for good. And just to prove that what I'm saying is true, let me go back and reset this room one more time. It is as I said, now that we have demolished the remaining body of the Cogwork Clapper, it can no longer be worked on. Which, may I say, a bit confusing, because I thought when we killed the Clapper the first time, its body already looked pretty demolished, and definitely not nearly as repaired as those two Cogworkers made it look. But whatever. It's still a very funny detail that Team Cherry would even allow you to be this sadistic and not just kill an enemy once, but kill it permanently once it is desperately being repaired by the Cogworkers in here. and I hope this whole video has gone to show you just how in-depth Team Cherry has made all the details in this game. Thank you for watching, everyone. Did you know all the secrets I had to share with you today? If you did, good on you. If not, hey, maybe better luck will happen next time. Have a good day, everyone.